Hello everyone and welcome back guys to this week's F1 GP challenge. Obviously with the Singapore Grand Prix going in, well, less than 2 hours now from the time I'm commentating this, in about an hour from when this video is going out. Yeah, obviously last time out obviously we did an Italian Grand Prix challenge driving as Sebastian Vettel, and rather weirdly I did sort of predict what happened in that race. You know, Seb ended up going right back to, well, pretty much last, and then having to fight. I think I even got the right position in the end, didn't I? I think he did come through either for P5 or P4, and I did actually call. I either got it spot on or I was very, very close. So hoping this week that we don't end up with the same sort of story here. Obviously hoping, because as you can probably tell by the title, I will be driving as Valtteri Bottas for this one. Quite looking forward to this race on the whole, you know, really, really excited for this one. Although it is in the wet, which may be a little bit of a worse time for me than I originally thought. But Daniel Ricciardo is on pole ready for this one ahead of Seb. Valtteri is on P3, but will, you know, let all the AI through at the start. Alongside Verstappen, Hamilton and Raikkonen just behind. Alonso, Sainz, Hulkenberg and Perez round at the top 10 ahead of Grosjean, Van Dorn, K-Mag, Esteban Ocon, Charles Leclerc, Lance Stroll, Pierre Gasly, Brendan Hartley, and then Rixon and Sergei Sorokin round out the order. A little bit of an apology from me as well. Unfortunately, no career mode video out yesterday. I've been a little bit busy. I was actually out all day yesterday, so taking a bit of a day off from it all, as well as there might not be one today. Unfortunately, I've got an esports event coming up later on today as well. But, you know, we'll try and get back on the career mode hype. Things might be changing around it over the coming weeks, but, you know, we'll sort of talk about that at a better time. But here we are then on the grid, ready for the Singapore Grand Prix. It is 5 lights here in treacherous conditions, and it is finally lights out, and away we go there. And yeah, as I said, we're going to let all the AI through on the run towards turn 1 here. I actually don't realise how close you really get to all the AI here as you come down towards turn 1. A little bit of contact, I think, between a couple of them there. There goes Sergei Sorokin. And now we can try and fight our way back through the order here, down in through turn 3. Straight away we're going to try and look to the outside of the Williams car once more. How depressing was Williams yesterday. Sadly, still way off the pace there. Really, really sad to see. You know, they really need to focus in the same way I do in the Williams Road to Glory career mode there. Out onto the back straight there, because we've got Rixon and Brendan Hartley going side by side. I don't fancy making it 3-wide. You can just see how much spray there is absolutely everywhere here. We're going to try and have a send down the inside of 3 cars there, down the inside of the Sauber and both Toro Rossos there. I will certainly take that move. Up the inside of Lance Stroll as well. You know, we really just want to try and get past all these backmarker cars as quickly as possible there. And now we're up into P15 of the Grand Prix. Ocon and Charles Leclerc slow each other down on the exit of the next corner there, but we just cannot get the power down. You can see how much I'm trying to fight with the steering wheel to get it pointing in the right direction there. But Charles Leclerc and Esteban Ocon still side by side through the next part of the corner there. Ocon is going to shut the door on Charles Leclerc there, and it's almost going to be bumper cars coming through to the outside of Esteban Ocon as we come now down in towards the hairpin here. Are we going to be able to make this work on the exit? We do get the better drive off the corner there, and we do go round his outside now up into P13 of the Grand Prix. As you can tell, this one is only a 5-lap race, and I sort of want to see which style you guys prefer. You know, the videos will generally be about the same length anyway, but I decided to make this one 5 laps and also back in TCAM for this one. You know, just want to change it up every week. I don't want it to be, you know, the same sort of story with every different driver. You know, I like to keep you guys on your toes as well for these challenges, because, you know, they're not really sort of proper super serious videos. You know, they're not like career mode or anything where they've got a long-term goal. You know, it's just doing one fun little race around the Grand Prix that obviously they're racing at over the course of that weekend as well here. Through the final corner though, to the end of lap 1, you can see still having to try and fight the rear end of this car. That we're just under a second behind K-Mag here as we come into lap 2, but there is certainly no chance that the DRS will obviously be coming out any time in this short little Grand Prix. There is a couple of cars just ahead of me here. In terms of race aim, I'd like to think we should be able to get back into the points here. You know, we had a really good opening lap, obviously, from the rear of the field here. Now out onto the back straight, and we're slowly but surely closing into the back of Kevin Magnussen here as we come now down in towards Sector 2 here. The AI do tend to brake quite late. You know, it's not something that I'm particularly able to match in a lot of places. But then there's other corners like this we can see where I just gain absolutely masses over them here. Through in towards the next corner, they can just see how poor K-Mag is on the traction there. A little bit wheel-to-wheel contact. We do squeeze him out wide. And now we do move up into P12 of this mini Grand Prix here, which I will certainly take. I could just hear the fronts locking ever so slightly. Unfortunately, I forgot to alter the brake pressure on this car coming into this one. I probably could up it during, well, sorry, even reduce it even going through this Grand Prix as well, though, but it wasn't something that really sort of crossed my mind, unfortunately, here. But on now to the back straight here, you can see we are really able to get good traction of there here, all over the back of Van Dorn. We're going to have a look to the inside. He tries to be a little bit defensive there. We do hang him out to dry on the exit of the corner. They're very lucky that he actually didn't end up in the wall. He backed out at pretty much the last moment there, but we will now move up into P11 of this Grand Prix here. Slowly but surely closing up to the back of Sergio Perez. Almost clipped the wall through there. Obviously, that little bit of this track, obviously a little bit different for F1. The real-life F1 2018 season has been remodeled slightly, and I must say, Lewis Hamilton's lap yesterday, especially going through that bit, how he did not hit the wall, I will never know though. That was absolutely phenomenal lap by him. Honestly, personally, I think one of the best of his career there as you come out of the final corner here onto lap 3, pretty much now at the halfway stage of this race. We're just under 1 second back from Sergio Perez as we come now through the first couple of corners here, trying to get a nice, good, consistent line through the opening few corners. Making sure we focus on the traction as well, the kick at the back end ever so slightly as we come out of turn 3 here now on towards the back straight. Are we going to be able to get a bit closer to the Force India driver? Obviously that Force India very quick down the straight, and it doesn't seem like we're able to close up all too much. It's certainly not going to be close enough to go for a very late lunge here, but we are able to attack the curbs and really closing quite a bit through these next couple of corners here. Now almost pushing him through this middle sector here. Oh, we think about doing what we did to K-Mag last lap there, but think better over there. We just weren't close enough to the rear of the Force India car there. But it is for the one final points paying position in this Grand Prix. We would really like to try and make this move work here as we come through the next couple of corners. Oh, a little bit of contact with the wall there. Lucky that we don't lose a bit of our front wing there as we come now through the hairpin. Once again, hoping we can try and get the good traction like we've been able to do over these last couple of laps. Yes, we do. We don't lose all too much time here, but I don't think we're going to be close enough. Once again, we think about going for a lunge there. Unfortunately, lock up both of the front wheels there. Fortunately, we didn't actually just run straight into the back of Sergio there. We did both get out of that completely unscathed, which I will certainly take. That was quite a scary moment. It's safe to say that could have very easily been race ending for the pair of us here. Obviously, this one, as you can probably tell by this point, we are just leaving it completely unedited in terms of the race. Just 5 laps, no rewinds, nothing like that. Obviously, as you would have seen at the start, 110 AI, all of the normal stuff in that sense here. Daniel Ricciardo, fastest lap of the Grand Prix there as we come now through the final couple of corners here. Trying to get on the power there, just a little bit of a kick out as we were wide out of the final corner there. We're now all over the back of Sergio Perez. You can see Van Dorn behind me is really starting to drop away from the rest of us here. Attack the curbs through the first couple of corners here. Try to get the traction on the exit, and that is what we've been able to do there. We're going to have a look to the inside of Sergio Perez here. Almost ran into the back in there. Squeeze him out wide, hang him out to dry on to the back straight there. Very lucky that we actually didn't end up in the wall there. But now we move up into P10, into the final points paying position of this Grand Prix here. Now anything from here is really a bonus, I'd say. 10 places made up in 4 laps. I'm sure most Formula 1 drivers would certainly take that in a real life Grand Prix here. But Grosjean now just a tiny bit up the road here as we now come through this middle sector here. Really one that this Mercedes is very strong, and they're not strong though when I clip the wall with the front wing. They're very well, it's a noobish mistake for me to make there as we come through this next couple of corners here. Fortunately, I will tell you guys now, it isn't actually going to cost me all too much, which is certainly very ideal here as we now come out in towards the back straight once more here. You can see Grosjean, Sainz and Hulkenberg all very close just in front of me here as we're slowly but surely closing onto the rear of a Roman as we come now down in towards this next couple of corners here. Very lucky. We do just sort of have to really scrub the brakes as we come down into every braking zone, Get it over to a stage where it's locking and then slowly have to try and release it back off and keep it pretty much right on the limit there. Because you can still, even if the brakes are making the sound of locking, you can still get quite a bit of rotation through them, which is obviously really ideal as well. Crucial in terms of, well, you can't really flat spot them in the F1 games, but I know on sims like R-Fact, it's so easy to do. It's something that I really have struggled with in the past on those sims. Out of the final corner though, and on to the final lap of this Grand Prix. See, we're still all over the back of a Roman here as we come down in towards turn 1 here. Just try to get the car slowed down there. Do run a little bit wide on the way in, but doesn't really cost me all too much time here as we now come through turn 3 here. We can see we're using the hot lap mode, trying to use all of the ERS here as we now come down in towards turn 4. Are we going to be able to get good traction on the exit of the corner? So tentative on, but as you can see coming down this back straight, we are slowly but surely closing in on the Haas car here, but the AI just so late on the brakes down in towards this corner there. Grosjean actually does run a little bit wide though, and we are going to be able to make this work. So clearly the AI very late on the brakes, but doesn't always mean it is going to be able to work for. As you can see now, we'll sort of fast forward our way through towards the end of the Grand Prix here. You know, highly unlikely we're going to be able to go close up to the back of Carlos Sainz. You know, sort of wanted to leave it all in, make sure, you know, it's transparent with you guys. There's no cheating going on in this or anything like that. But coming through now in towards the final couple of corners, though, it is going to be last all the way up to P9 of the Singapore Grand Prix there. And I will certainly take that. Hopefully, you know, you guys will as well. Out of the final corner, and it's 11 places made up in 5 laps here in Singapore in horrible treacherous conditions. Having a look, though, at the end of the Grand Prix there, as you can see, Daniel Ricciardo won from pole. That very good job by him in the Red Bull. Had a bit of a tough day out, actually, in qualifying yesterday, as I'm sure you guys will have seen there. But, yeah, it still came through for P1 in this race. Seb will come through for P2, Verstappen in P3, Lewis Hamilton 4th there. I was actually half a second quicker than him in terms of fastest laps, which really does go to show how much the Mercedes does tend to struggle around here. Raikkonen in 5th, Alonso 6th, Hülkenberg 7th, Sainz 8th, myself all the way, well, I say all the way up to P9, obviously we went 3rd to 9th, but actually, you know, we went from 20th to 9th there. Grosjean in 10th would take the final point with Perez just missing out there. But there we are then, guys. That has been the Singapore Grand Prix Challenge. Hopefully, you know, you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments below whether you'd much rather see a 25% race or a sort of a 5-lap sprint one, as well as cockpit cam or T-cam there. But hopefully, you know, you guys have still enjoyed. Make sure you do like and subscribe as well. We're closing up to 9,750 subs. And hopefully I will see you guys next time for a brand new video.